Zero. Think about it for a second. Mathematically, it's just nothing. Actually, it's so completely empty that for centuries, ancient civilizations didn't even have a real concept for it. But I want to kick off our analysis today by asking you a serious question. What does it actually take to build an absolute empire, starting from this exact number? Because here's the thing. Every single grand achievement, every massive, towering success story you have ever studied, they all share one thing, a starting line. And it begins right here at absolutely nothing. Today, we're unpacking a highly condensed source text that just perfectly captures this whole phenomenon. We're setting the baseline for a journey of total transformation and really digging into the raw materials of success. Okay, let's dive into this. Our source material today is, well, it's brief, but it packs an absolute educational punch. The text we're analyzing in this explainer is simply this phrase, starting from zero, how Cristiano changed his destiny. We are going to completely deconstruct those exact words today because they perfectly outline the ultimate archetype of human transformation. It's honestly a masterclass in shifting your trajectory, and it's all captured in just one single powerful sentence. So let's jump right into Section 1, The Power of Zero. Subtitle, The Baseline. To truly grasp the gravity of this text, we've got to take a hard look at how we define our starting points. You know, when we read the words starting from zero, it is so incredibly easy for our brains to instantly view zero as a deficit, right? Like it's a negative, a major disadvantage. But let's recontextualize our source material for a minute. Zero isn't a penalty. It is actually the ultimate blank canvas. It is the absolute foundational starting point for a brand new trajectory. I want you to look at it empathetically today, see it as pure, unadulterated potential before any of life's limiting variables are introduced. Because zero is your baseline of pure potential. And as a focused learner, I want you to connect this directly to yourself right now. Where exactly is your zero today? What's the blank slate in your life, your career, or maybe your studies that's just sitting there waiting for a trajectory to be plotted? Notice how the text doesn't say starting from a disadvantage. It simply says starting from zero. It's a completely universal, incredibly powerful baseline. Moving on to Section 2, Changing the Trajectory. Subtitle, The Inflection Point. All right, this is where the energy of our source text radically shifts, and this brilliantly illustrates the exact mechanics of the journey. We've got Step 1, starting at zero, and we have Step 3, achieving destiny. But how do we actually cross that massive chasm in between? Well, it's Step 2, the act of changing. How Cristiano changed his destiny. That specific word, changed, is the bridge. It is the crucial inflection point between nothingness and ultimate realization. It's the active engine driving the entire phrase. Notice the direct contrast here. We've got given destiny versus changed destiny. So often we're kind of conditioned to think of destiny as this entirely passive thing, something just handed down to us by fate or circumstance. But our source text completely rejects that. It specifically uses the active phrase, changed his destiny. This really highlights a deliberate, powerful action. The subject of our text, Cristiano, he didn't just sit around waiting for his destiny to show up. He actively rewrote the code of his own life. He grabbed the wheel and took control of the trajectory. Now, here's a wild detail. Our source text notes that this entire narrative of transformation is contained within a window of just 6 minutes. Let's just pause and think about that specific time frame for a second. 6 minutes. It's incredibly brief, yet it's the exact container for this massive thematic shift. It serves as this fantastic motif for how quickly an inflection point can actually happen. A sudden burst of inspiration, a resolute, ironclad decision to change your trajectory. It doesn't always take years of pondering to decide to pivot. Sometimes that incredibly powerful mental shift happens in literally just 6 minutes. Which brings us to Section 3. Designing Your Destiny. Subtitle, The Horizon. Okay, so we've established the baseline, we've identified the inflection point, and now let's see how all of this builds into a complete, actionable blueprint based strictly on our source. First, you absolutely must acknowledge the zero start. You have to embrace the blank canvas without fear. Second, you have to apply active, deliberate change. Do not just wait around for destiny to be handed to you. Third, through that relentless action, you arrive at a self-made destiny. And finally, recognize that a massive shift in perspective, that literal spark of absolute motivation, can occur in a highly concentrated window, just 6 minutes. So, the crucial point brings us full circle, right back to our original source text, starting from zero. how Cristiano changed his destiny. By breaking down these specific words today, we can clearly see how a single, well-crafted sentence carries an entire motivational archetype. It is so much more than just a title. It is a literal structural formula for success, perfectly illustrating how you move from the lowest possible baseline to the highest possible horizon through pure, active change. Which leaves us with one final massive question for you. We've analyzed the baseline, we've looked at the mechanics of change and the realization of destiny. You have the educational blueprint directly in front of you. You now know for a fact that even the most monumental transformations start with a completely blank slate. And you know that taking active, deliberate control is the only proven way to rewrite your path. The potential here is literally limitless. So, I'm going to leave you with this. What will you build from zero?